Good evening, I am Tammy Reed in with your VON Major News Package for today, Friday, 19th October 2018. In our lead stories, nationally, Cabinet and senior level government officials wrap up 2019 pre-budget estimate meetings, and the National Carnival Committee to host a Caribbean Carnival Chairperson Convention. Regionally, more public sector workers in Barbados to lose jobs in 2019. Internationally, U.S. President hails body slamming congressman in Montana. And in sports, LeBron James impresses, but Lakers lose to Trailblazers 128 to 119. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. The 2019 Budget Estimates Committee meetings wrapped up October 18th after 4 days of thorough and in-depth discussions between members of the federal cabinet and senior-level government officials that will help shape the 2019 budget. The meetings began October 15th at the Ministry of Finance conference room with presentations made from permanent secretaries and heads of departments of various line ministries, including the Office of the Governor General, the National Audit Office, the Ministry of International Trade, and Ministry of Tourism. The pre-budget meetings, which were originally scheduled as a 3-day affair, extended into a 4th day after Cabinet, while exercising diligence throughout the entire budgetary process, requested additional information from several line ministries in order to ensure the production of a comprehensive 2019 budget estimates. The pre-budget meetings, which are de facto meetings of the Cabinet, were chaired by Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris. The Ministry of Finance is now expected to prepare the actual budget for the approval of the Honorable Minister of Finance and Chairman of Cabinet, after which it will be tabled in Parliament for debate. The St. Kitts and Nevis National Carnival Committee, SKNNCC, will host a Caribbean Carnival Chairperson Convention dubbed the Four Seas in December this year. Chairman of the St. Kitts and Nevis National Carnival Committee, Noah Mills, said the event will bring together regional carnival chairpersons to discuss issues such as certification for judges, standardization of criteria, and exposure for carnival winners. He said the objective of the convention is to look at best practices throughout the region with respect to carnival so that a unified approach towards the festival could be arrived at. He highlighted that the Four Seas will also try to market the Caribbean as a carnival junkie destination and get travel agents and airlines involved to offer promotions for carnival travel packages. According to the carnival chairman, the committee intends to set up a system where winners can confirm performances in other regional festivals throughout the region. A woman from St. Kitts was fined $500 in the magistrate court on Thursday after she was caught en route sneaking off to St. John in the U.S. Virgin Islands, USVI. According to information reaching this media house, Helena Henry, who had visited the British Virgin Islands this week to attend a wedding of a family relative on Virgin Gorda, was sentenced in relation to the offense of embarking on a destination outside the territory without leave of an immigration officer. Helena was ordered to pay the $500 fine forthwith or spend 1 month at Her Majesty's prison. She arrived in the territory on October 15th and was allowed to stay for a period of 3 days. Local law enforcement caught her on a private vessel heading to the USVI sometime between Tuesday and Wednesday, but checks revealed that she did not have the permission to leave the territory. Subsequently, she was arrested and charged for the offense. Administrator at the Alexandra Hospital, Mr. Gary Pemberton, has commended the Nevis Cooperative Credit Union Limited, NCCU, for its continued display of generosity. His remarks came on Wednesday morning when he, accompanied by Matron Aldris Pemberton Diaz and other senior hospital staff, accepted a financial donation from the NCCU, after which he expressed his appreciation to the NCCU on behalf of the hospital. President of the NCCU, Bernicia Walters, made the check presentation on the NCCU's behalf. This comes as the NCCU used its annual observance of International Credit Union Week to show support to the island's main healthcare facility. In police news, the lawmen are currently investigating a sexual assault incident which occurred on the northwestern side of St. Kitts. The incident transpired last Wednesday, October 10th, and involved a woman in her 50s. The anonymous woman was assaulted by an intruder who entered her home armed with a knife. Although investigations into the matter are ongoing, the police are making a special appeal to persons who might have any information regarding this incident. Persons can contact the Special Victims Unit at the Basia Police Station by dialing 465-2241 extension 4232. The World Health Organization, WHO, has removed its Zika virus country classification scheme from St. Kitts and Nevis and the other countries in the region. The scheme had categorized most of the Caribbean territories as having active Zika virus transmission. This removal of the mosquito-borne virus by the WHO comes on the heels of data released by the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, giving evidence that the Zika virus transmission in the Caribbean had been interrupted for over 12 months or was at undetectable levels, thereby posing very little risk to residents and visitors to the region. This evidence was used by CARICOM to pen a letter to the WHO Director General calling for the immediate reclassification of CARPHA member states from Category 1, having active Zika transmission, to Category 3, having no Zika transmission, arguing that the classification scheme had outlived its useful purpose. According to CARPHA's Executive Director, Dr. C. James Hospitalis, the Zika classification was not only having an adverse impact on the Caribbean, but it was also against the tenets of the international health regulations. CARPHA, the sole regional public health agency, has pledged to continue to work with member states to ensure that the Caribbean is capable of preventing, detecting, and responding to public health threats affecting the region. Finally, members of youth groups that are registered with the Department of Youth Empowerment in St. Kitts will have an opportunity to learn new skills that can be used to literally save a person's life. The department is teaming up with the St. Kitts Nevis Red Cross Society to host first aid and CPR certification training. Registered groups can select at least 2 representatives to participate in the one-day training, where they will learn about proper procedures for treating bruises, cuts, how to do simple splint, and how to make a triangular bandage. Topics are also expected to cover how to assist during cases of asthma attacks or seizures. Youth Officer Sharon Cannonier spoke about the motivation for hosting that type of training.
What we're trying to do, along with our youth staff, is get at least 35 persons certified at this point in time, and then later on we're going to go on to get other persons from the group certified. So at any given time you may have at least 4 persons in any group that are certified in CPR and first aid training.
Ms. Cannonier noted that having an increased number of certified first aid and CPR individuals will be good for the society.
They may not be in a youth group setting, but it could be somewhere in the public. They can easily flash their badge and say, I am first aid certified, can I assist you? That could be a major plus in anyone's life. It can go a long way, it can help you here or overseas.
Youth Officer Shannon Cannonier. This training is among a number of benefits that youth groups can access through registration with the Department of Youth Empowerment. In addition to participating in training courses, they can gain technical and some financial support from the department, be kept up to date with the local, regional, and international grant funding opportunities, and apply for duty concessions for materials or equipment for club purposes. That's our national news segment. You can visit our website at www.bunradio.com, or you can check us out on our social media page on Facebook at Bun Radio and our Bun Radio YouTube channel. News from across the region is next.
Home. It means something different to everyone. It's a place you love, a place as unique as you are, a place where you can be yourselves, a place for life's big surprises, and not to mention the small ones. Moments to cherish and moments that last a lifetime. It's a place for nurture and a place where you can grow together. It's home. So whether you're building, purchasing, or renovating, the Bank of Nevis is here to open the door, giving you the confidence to dream and the help you need to get there with a mortgage loan from the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life.
Welcome back, and now the regional news in detail. News from Barbados. As many as 2,500 public workers will be jobless when the dust settles on the government's restructuring exercise, a Barbados-born International Monetary Fund economist embedded as the government's senior economic advisor has announced. The figure of 1,500 announced by the Prime Minister on Monday is only the start, Dr. Kevin Greenidge told journalists on Tuesday at the Central Bank in an update on the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation BERT plan. According to Dr. Greenidge, additional retrenchments will amount to no more than 1,000 or between 800 and 1,000. He has also hinted that those who are sent home will be among the first to be tapped for a massive scheme to digitize mountains of papers in the government in the first steps towards creating e-government in which services and payments will be accessible via smartphone and computer. However, the IMF economist was quick to add that with the job cuts will also come re-employment in the next fiscal year of those who were retrenched in the first place. He assured that with the full digitalization of central government starting early next year, most of the 800 being retrenched from central government would be re-employed. In Guyana, one of the 3 inmates who escaped from the Lusignan prison earlier this week has been caught. Murder-accused Travis Evans, who scaled a wall at one of the prison's holding bays and escaped along with Sudish Dial and Dexroy Pollard on Monday, was apprehended around 7:45 a.m. today in an operation at a Linden Soaksdide roadblock. Acting Director of Prisons Gladwin Samuels said citizens had assisted in the capture, which was executed without any confrontation. 4 policemen and a prison officer have been in custody since the trio's escape. Those officers were on duty at Towers 2 and 3, which is in the area from which the inmates made their escape, and it has been suggested that they may have been asleep on the job. Both Dial 23 and 29-year-old Pollard were on remand for breaking and entering and larceny. In St. Vincent, the claim by a suspended police officer that the nation's police chief and police officers beat him last month will not be investigated. So said Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves on Thursday in Parliament in response to a question from the opposition. Acting Commissioner of Police Colin John has denied beating suspended Constable Etienne Charles or seeing anyone else do so when Charles was arrested in September. Charles was among a number of persons taken into custody shortly after the September 19th armed robbery of Risha Tiwana Brown Caesar, wife of Minister of Agriculture Saboto Caesar, at their Cedars home. Charles was suspended from duty in July 2017 after he was charged with burglarizing the Postal Corporation in Kingston and stealing items and cash worth some EC $100,000. In a court appearance last month, the accused man told Senior Magistrate Ricky Burnett that John and other officers had beaten him while he was in custody. Finally, out of Jamaica, a judge has ruled that Livingston Kane, the juror being tried for allegedly attempting to bribe other jurors in the Vybz Kartel murder trial, has a case to answer. The ruling was made yesterday, October 18th, in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court by Parish Judge Maxine Ellis during the long-delayed trial. Kane was arrested at the Supreme Court in 2014, minutes after jurors in the Vybz Kartel murder trial voted 10-1 to convict the popular entertainer Sean Storm and 2 other men of killing Clive Lizard Williams. He was charged with 6 counts of attempting to pervert the course of justice. During his first court appearance, Director of Public Prosecutions Paula Llewellyn charged that Kane offered the jury foreman $500,000 to convince others on the 11-member jury to find Kartel and his 3 co-accused not guilty. According to Llewellyn, the foreman recorded Kane telling her he realized that she had some influence over the other jurors and that he wanted her to come to a not guilty verdict against the 5 accused. However, following the judge's ruling on Thursday, Kane took the witness stand and denied that he attempted to bribe other jurors. The trial is scheduled to resume on January 9th next year. That's it for our regional stories. Stay with us for news around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. U.S. President Donald Trump has praised a Republican congressman who assaulted a journalist last year with a body slam, referring to him as "my guy." The Committee to Protect Journalists, CPJ, and the Guardian newspaper have called on Mr. Trump to apologize. This latest praise from Mr. Trump is unlikely to improve his relationship with the media, which he has previously labeled the enemy of the people.
He's so smart. You know, we've had people, you're on live television all over the place, and we've had people get up, speak for 20, 25 minutes. And these guys are going crazy. That's not the deal. But Greg is smart. And by the way, never wrestle him. You understand that? Never. Any guy that can do a body slam, he's my kind of, he's my guy.
An Arizona man has survived 2 days trapped alone in an abandoned mine shaft with rattlesnakes. He killed 3 of the snakes while waiting to be discovered, according to rescue crews. John Waddell, 62, was lowering himself into a 100-feet gold mine shaft when his equipment broke, said a friend who found him. Mr. Waddell broke both his legs and survived for 48 hours with no food or water, officials say. Emergency teams worked for over 6 hours to remove him from the abandoned mine and airlift him to a hospital. Terry Sharada, a friend of the victim, told local media that Mr. Waddell had called him on Monday to tell him he was going into the mine to look for gold and precious metals and asked that he check on him if he had not returned by Tuesday. Parliamentary elections in the Afghan province of Kandahar had been delayed by a week after the assassination of a powerful local police chief. General Abdul Razik was shot dead by a rogue bodyguard on Thursday. The Taliban claimed the attack, which came after a high-level security meeting. U.S. Commander General Scott Miller narrowly escaped unhurt. The local intelligence head was also killed, and the governor was critically injured. 3 Americans were hurt. It has been said that the murder would have far-reaching effects.
The assassination of General Abdul Razak in Kandahar and other senior officials has been like an earthquake at this crucial time. Afghans from across the country, whatever their ethnic or political divisions, have been mourning the loss of a man they describe as an Afghan hero and a patriot. Abdul Razak was powerful but controversial too, criticized by human rights advocates for his brutal tactics. But for the US-led forces, he was an absolutely essential ally.
Finally, China has reported its lowest quarterly growth rate since the global financial crisis. The growth figure for the July to September quarter was 6.5% from a year earlier, the National Bureau of Statistics said. Here is more in this report.
We are seeing a substantial slowdown in the activity data. The leading indicators are suggesting that that's going to continue into the first half of next year, that we're going to need more stimulus to stabilize the economy, and that the authorities are really facing some real serious constraints on their ability to actually stimulate the economy.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Everyone likes to get more for their money, and TDC Insurance Company is here to help you do just that. Our new motor insurance package includes everything you and your vehicle will ever need. Rest assured, if you ever have a loss, we will have you on the road in no time. Pay one affordable premium and a payment plan suitable to your needs. Choose TDCIC for your motor insurance, where you'll get more coverage for less. TDCIC, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In basketball, LeBron James scored 26 points on his NBA debut for the LA Lakers, who slipped to a 128-119 loss by the Portland Trail Blazers in their season opener. The four-time MVP's total, the second highest scored by a Lakers debutant, included 12 rebounds and 6 assists. Damian Lillard scored 28 points for Portland, and Nick Stauskas matched his career high with 24 on his debut. This was Portland's 16th successive win over the 16-time NBA champions dating back to 2013. James, who led Cleveland to their first NBA championship in 2016 after returning to the team from the Miami Heat, is playing for a Western Conference franchise for the first time in his career. The 33-year-old signed a 4-year deal with the Lakers in the summer, earning a reported $154 million over the term. In local sports, the 2018 Primary Schools Football Tournament continued on Thursday, October 18th at the Bath Village playing field here on Nevis. Defending champion St. Thomas's Primary went up against the Nevis Academy team. Final score, St. Thomas's Primary 4, Nevis Academy 0. Goal scorers for STPS Adrian Williams 2, Aljalon Chapman and Zaquan Challenger 1 each. MVP for STPS Adrian Williams and MVP for Nevis Academy Teshawn Wilkinson. In the other games played, it was Joycelyn Liebert Primary School JLPS versus the Elizabeth Pemberton Primary School EPPS on the same day, October 18th. Scoring for JLPS was Tijari Liebert and for EPPS, Cheyenne Body. Final scores, JLPS 1, EPPS 1. MVP for JLPS, Rashawn Fifield, and MVP for EPPS, Kamal Brandy. In the match between Charleston Primary School CPS and Ivor Walters Primary IWPS, CPS defeated the IWPS 1-0. The goal scorer was Jaquan Athanase. We have results from the Anguilla Primary School's football competition, which began on Wednesday, 17th October 2018. The report provided to the VOA Newsline by Mr. Frankie Claxton from the Valley in Anguilla. On Wednesday, the opening day of the competition, 4 games were played at the Raymond E. Gishard Stadium. Maurice Vanterpool Primary Girls beat Valley Primary Girls 4-0. In the boys category, Aurelia Kelly Primary 4, Adrian T. Hazel Primary 2, Valley Primary 7, Maurice Vanterpool Primary 0, Vivian Vanterpool Primary 2, Alwyn Allison Richardson Primary 0. On Thursday, 18th October, Adrian T. Hazel Girls 6, Aurelia Kelly Girls 1, Maurice Vanterpool Girls 9, Alwyn Allison Richardson Girls 0. And in the boys category, Maurice Vanterpool Primary 3, Alwyn Allison Richardson 1. Finally, the NFL has refused to comment on reports that Barbadian singer Rihanna declined an invitation to headline the Super Bowl halftime show in support of Colin Kaepernick. Quarterback Kaepernick, 30, was the first player to kneel during the U.S. national anthem. Other players followed suit, leading to criticism from President Donald Trump. A source close to the singer reportedly told U.S. Weekly magazine that Rihanna does not agree with the NFL stand. Maroon 5 will now headline the show, which will take place on 3rd of February in Atlanta, Georgia. Players who refused to stand during the Star-Spangled Banner have said the protests were a reaction to police brutality against African Americans and racial inequality. Kaepernick has been without a team since he opted out of his contract with the San Francisco 49ers in March 2017. That's it for the sports segment. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back. And now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. A dry and stable air mass is the dominant feature affecting the weather across the islands. This will lead to low chances for cloudiness and showers over the next 24 hours. Weather tonight, partly cloudy with a 30% or low chance of showers. Weather tomorrow, partly sunny with a 30% or low chance of showers. Winds east-northeast at 11 to 22 kilometers per hour or 6 to 12 knots. Seas moderate with significant wave heights 1.5 meters or 5 feet. Sunrise tomorrow is at 6:05 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Friday, 19th October 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, Cabinet and senior level government officials wrap up 2019 pre-budget estimates meetings. And a National Carnival Committee to host a Caribbean Carnival Chairperson Convention. Regionally, more public sector workers in Barbados to lose jobs in 2019. Internationally, U.S. President hails body slamming congressman in Montana. And in sports, LeBron James impresses, but Lakers lose to Trailblazers 128 to 119. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tammy Reed, wishing you a great weekend.